and it works out.
Makes a good amphitheater.
So you could stand here and not be surprised by a raccoon untying your shoelaces. So down at the little harbor on the Lewiston side, that's where the whirlpool jet boats were launched from the States. Otherwise, you can go all the way down to the end of the river on the Canadian side and pick them up, or you can pick them up down below here. But those are boats that most of them are open, and they whomp down. And I saw a video of them doing it when they were promoting themselves in the spring, and I thought, how do they get permission to do that? Last time anybody went down there with permission was in the 80s. There was a kayaking competition on one of the sports channels. I think it was Channel 5. They had 4 kayakers, and one at a time they went down, and they got to come out of the water before getting sucked into the whirlpool, and they all made it. And there was a rafting company that wanted to do rafting tours to go from where the Whirlpool Bridge is, and that denotes from up top where the Whirlpool Rapids begin below, and then do those classics rapids and get the people to shore before going into the Whirlpool Bend. It's transitioned to the summer design, and they'll say which plants are used to make which colors and shapes. They take big tin shapes like cookie cutters, set them down into the prepared soil, and then they plant inside and around them. So the floral clock is 40 feet wide, and it was inspired by a floral clock in Edinburgh, Scotland, that somebody knew of. That's 1/3 the width of this clock.
Okay.
So it's I know there are lots of floral clocks around, but this one was kind of a loose copycat of that Scottish clock. It was growing, and it's kind of like build it and they will come. So by 1921, this one was already up and running. In 1954, they moved the production of electricity from the one up by the, oh, there we go. Had decided that they would stop using the power stations down by the falls, and they would move all the hydroelectric power production down to this part of the gorge. I can tell that we had a really hard spring. It's been a colder, harder year, because usually the whole surface by now would be covered with bigger lilies and blooms and a lot more going on in the water.
Mm-hmm.
So the Shoalcop power station exploded from a crack in its structure. Water burst through on June 7th of 1956. Right across the way we've got the Robert Moses Power Complex, and each country has a large and a small power station right here. And on the American side, the water is actually used twice. It goes from a large reservoir through the small Lewiston power station, then fills up a small reservoir that's a mile long, and it comes down through the Robert Moses power station and then back to the river, clean and the same temperature. The Canadians have their power stations side by side. We're driving on the newer one of the Sir Adam Beck, and they are each fed by their own reservoirs. One has a reservoir that's more like a long canal, and the other one has the reservoir that was behind the big berm. I'm going to pull over here in case you want to step out and just look down at the pretty water. Fishing is great down below. There's salmon and trout, and let's see if I pull up just a hair more. The glass structure over there is a beautiful view up and down the gorge. That's the Power Authority's Power Vista.
See all the wires coming up from the Canadian side and going where. I don't see any wires coming up from over there. They must go underground.
Well, they are not visible for here, and then when you get back in the distance, off to the right-hand side, we can only see a couple of electricity trees over there.
Oh, I see
But if
all
we
the
drove,
trees,
but they've got the wires low down
but,
and
they're
protected.
coming
So
out the back side of it.
So we're just going around the whirlpool right now. It takes 1 mile on the Canadian side to go around the whirlpool. And the guy says, well, why don't I put in the $250 size and it'll have a steel rod. So the Moose got a little bit more masculinity, and after this bus goes, I'm going to just angle the car. So if you want to see out the window, the back end of the Moose is the most popular end.
Okay.
And when the Moose got enhanced back there, a tour guide that no longer works, who used to do these daytime tours of the knitting club and the crochet club, lots of little old ladies going to see the garden, and they stop here, he'd line them up with, and they'd hand him his camera, or their camera, and he'd take a photo of them kissing the Moose's masculinity.
Yeah.
And what he would say to them is that that's the Blarney Stone of Canada. He would do that twice a day, every day except Saturday. On Saturday he would do one walk, and it would be from the hotel up to the Skyline Tower. And when he did it the first time that summer, it was the farthest and highest tightrope walk in North America at the time. The last time I saw him walk was the summer of 2012, and that was the last time he was here walking. And he was walking over to the tall tower of the Hilton up at the penthouse green roof level, and he was leaving from the Skyline Tower up just above where those lights are blinking.
Okay, they must do a whole lap. We've got it left to the same spot. Yeah, it's a really long time. It's a really nice lap. I feel like we're going to do a lap.
They have a customs place at each end of the bridge. So where you see it curved like that, that's actually just the edge of the land. They've got 5 Fright Houses.